So the core incident we're talking about, there's this disturbing video. It surfaced, taken on August 1st at Regal Plaza. And this footage, it allegedly shows an 18-year-old Michael Robinson being chased, then punched hard in the head, shoved into a trash can.
Yeah.
And maybe worst of all, subjected to racial slurs. It's really shocking stuff. Michael reported serious injuries afterwards, a concussion, a chipped tooth, other injuries too. It clearly wasn't minor.
And what's truly fascinating here, and I think why this deep dive is important, is how Simi Valley itself changes the equation. The context there just amplifies everything, way beyond, just the legal side of things. This isn't only about a crime, as serious as it is. It's become this profound test of community trust, a test of leadership, really, and what the town stands for. So our mission here is to look at the initial facts, sure, but also dig into how the community is reacting because it's so personal there. And ultimately, what's really at stake for the leaders in Simi Valley moving forward, it's like a magnifying glass on community dynamics.
And those initial facts you mentioned, that's where things got complicated almost immediately, didn't they? So after the incident, we know 4 juveniles were arrested, okay? Charged with misdemeanor battery. Now, misdemeanor battery, it's serious, obviously, but it's a specific legal category. Usually implies unlawful contact, maybe minor to moderate injury. But here's the twist. Here's where it gets really interesting, and you can see why concerns spiked. One of the juveniles arrested, their parent is a Simi Valley police officer. I mean, you can just imagine the ripple effect of that kind of news in a small town where people don't just live near each other, they know each other. How did that land?
Oh, absolutely. That detail immediately put the police department under a very unique kind of pressure, a spotlight. The department acted fast to address it. They put out a statement, clarified that the relationship has no bearing on this investigation, and they confirmed the officer's parent isn't involved in the case at all. Alongside that, Police Chief Steve Shorts, he spoke to ABC7 News, the local station, and he called the incident a hate-related attack. That's a significant choice of words.
Yeah, that's strong.
Very strong. He also stressed they're building the best case possible, making sure all the evidence is there. Now, understandably, a lot of residents, hearing about the alleged slurs, seeing the violence, they're demanding hate crime charges vehemently.
Which makes sense.
It does emotionally, but legally, it's complex. A hate crime charge in California isn't just tacked on. It means proving the crime was motivated by bias against a protected group. It changes the sentencing, sends a different message.
A much stronger message.
Exactly. And that crucial decision, it's not with the local police anymore. It's with the Ventura County District Attorney's Office who are reviewing it now. So it brings up this big question. In a community disconnected, how do these official statements' promises of impartiality actually resonate? Especially with that personal connection hanging in the air.
Precisely. And that leads right into the heart of the community's reaction. It's almost palpable. You can feel it. The sources we looked at, they put it bluntly. Anger hits hard in Simi Valley because we know who's in charge. This is an abstract anger from afar. It's right there. It's personal. Just days after that video started making the rounds, the city council had a meeting. And what happened there was, pretty remarkable. The room was packed, standing room only. Residents, people who likely see each other at the store, at school, events, filled every seat, lined the walls, spilled out. And they weren't just there about this one awful attack on Michael Robinson. Their anger, their frustration, it clearly went deeper. Speaker after speaker got up, some were emotional, and they said, look, this isn't isolated. This is part of a pattern they feel the city has ignored.
That's telling.
It really is. It suggests this wasn't just a random flare-up. It was maybe the breaking point, a feeling that other concerns maybe about safety or inclusion or accountability hadn't been heard before. And this incident just blew the lid off that simmering frustration. It wasn't just an event. It was the latest event.
Yeah, and if we pull back a bit, this whole situation perfectly illustrates that difference between big cities and smaller towns. In a huge city, a terrible story like this might still feel distant. Another headline you scroll past. But in Simi Valley, totally different experience. It's incredibly personal. People don't just know of the police chief. They might see him at the supermarket. Maybe his kid played baseball with theirs.
Right.
They've probably seen the mayor at the 4th of July picnic or something. And crucially, they might even know the families of the teenagers involved. Maybe their kids are classmates, or they know mutual friends. This closeness, this intimacy just fundamentally changes how an event like this is processed.
It's not abstract.
Not even slightly. It's right there, tangible, immediate. And this proximity, which is usually a strength, right? Community spirit. Here it adds this intense layer of difficulty Because many residents, they do know these leaders personally. They've seen them step up for others before, maybe worked with them on the school board or some city project.
There's history there.
Exactly. There's history. And that history, that personal respect, it doesn't wipe away the facts of what happened to Michael Robinson. Of course not. But it definitely complicates the reaction. It allows for this internal conflict, where someone can genuinely respect an individual leader but still ask really tough questions about their role, about the institution.
Holding both things at once, respect and the demand for accountability.
Right. It turns what could be just a legal or political issue into something deeply personal, a test of loyalty, trust, community values. It's a tough spot for leaders.
So with that level of personal stake, that closeness, all eyes are on the leadership, aren't they, under this intense microscope? What happens next in Simi Valley? We heard the initial words. Mayor Dee Dee Kavanaugh told ABC7 pretty clearly, "I'm willing to help this community get to a place where we are all happy and we're all proud to live here." Which is a strong goal, a vision for healing. And Chief Shorts, like we said, was very direct. The family connection won't affect the investigation. Impartiality is key. These are reassuring statements from people the community knows. But you get the sense, especially in a place like this, people aren't just hearing the words, they're watching, waiting, expecting action to back it up.
That's exactly right. And what's really critical now, what sort of defines this next phase for Simi Valley, the arrests happened, the video's out there, yes. But what comes next? The sustained, visible actions from city leaders that matters just as much, maybe even more, than what's already happened.
It's about the follow-through.
It's all about the follow-through. People in Simi Valley, they're not just waiting on the legal verdicts, that those are obviously important. They're watching how their leaders communicate from here on out. How transparent are they? Do their actions genuinely line up with those promises they made? And it's especially tricky because, like you said, these leaders often do have a track record. Many people there have seen them do the right thing before. Lead fairly, respond honestly, stand up when needed.
That past trust makes the current situation even more charged.
Precisely. That history of trust is why this moment feels so acute, why the scrutiny is so intense. It's not just a system potentially failing, it feels like a relationship being tested. And it brings up that fundamental question for leaders everywhere, but especially in tight-knit places. What does real leadership look like when trust is shaky, when things get really hard, and when everyone knows everyone? When the lines between the public role and the personal connection get blurry, it's a huge test.
Yeah, and that, I think, gets right to the heart of it. In a place like Simi Valley, accountability isn't some abstract concept. It's not just about systems and policies. It's deeply, profoundly personal. It's about the actual people leading and how they choose to navigate when things get incredibly difficult. When those personal ties, the very stuff of their lives and the community's life are tangled up in it, residents aren't just looking for a legal resolution. They're waiting to see what genuine, responsive leadership actually looks like in practice.
You are listening to CLAIR News, Simi Valley.